Hey, I'm Rachel Abbott, and this is the Standards Tech and Science Daily podcast. Coming up, say hello to Googling, but with video. Now, let's get into it. If you're new here, make sure to hit follow. The world's first vaccine for ovarian cancer is being developed in the UK.
The work that we are set out to do is about testing the components of the vaccine to try to identify and shortlist components that are most likely to be the most effective ones. And then the hope is that this would have coverage of a wider group of women so that it would prevent ovarian cancer in those women.
That's Professor Ahmed Ahmed, Director of the Ovarian Cancer Cell Laboratory at MRC Weatherall Institute of Molecular Medicine at the University of Oxford, who is leading the research. The hope is that the jab could one day be given to women preventatively on the NHS with the aim of eliminating the disease, although Professor Ahmed says completely eradicating the cancer will be very challenging.
Whether it would eliminate as in completely abolish ovarian cancer, it's highly unlikely, but my hope is that it would have a significant impact on reducing the number of ovarian cancer cases in the future.
The aim is for the vaccine, called Ovarian Vax, to teach the immune system to recognise and attack the earliest stages of ovarian cancer.
We were really set out to make a vaccine that would target the most common type of ovarian cancer, which is the serous ovarian cancer. It comprises about more than 70% of all ovarian cancer types. And it is the type of ovarian cancer that we think most probably starts from the fallopian tube. And that is the target of this vaccine.
Cancer Research UK is funding the study with up to £600,000 over the next 3 years. The vaccine is in its early stages, but Professor Ahmed says that we could see an impact on the rates of ovarian cancer through the clinical trials.
The plan is that for the next 2 to 3 years, we will be testing the components of the vaccine. Once we have done that first stage, which will take about 2 to 3 years, the hope is that they will then transition smoothly to starting a clinical trial to try this new vaccine in patients.
Now, a new device has been developed which can help people with Parkinson's to walk.
Yeah, we created this technology and we developed it in practice with people suffering these diseases, with experts, with therapists, with doctors.
That's Martijn van der Rent, Medical Director and co-founder of Cue2Walk International. People with Parkinson's develop freezing of gait, which is the sudden loss of the ability to control muscles. This often results in falls, mental and physical trauma, as well as a loss of confidence.
Well, people suffering Parkinson's disease have a problem in controlling their legs because they have a brain injury. So what actually happens with people suffering these gait disturbances is that their brains can't control their legs anymore, especially in motions that are steered from the core of the brain. And if you can trigger people to use the more active parts of the brain, you can break through these episodes. And that's called cueing. That's scientifically proven. And we created a special technology to allow this strategy of cueing to be used in daily life settings.
The device is a sensor worn on the leg that detects movements and automatically triggers a rhythmic signal. In conjunction with therapy, patients learn to translate this rhythm into conscious movements.
Well, it's important to be active to slow the development of the Parkinson's disease on short terms in terms of days, but also on long term. Staying active is the only proven method to slow the development of the disease. But people suffering freezing of gait are hindered physically and mentally to stay active. So it's really important to find compensation strategies to stay as active as possible.
Cue2Walk is already available in the Netherlands and Germany, and they have plans to expand to the UK soon. Next, Google has a new way to search the internet by filming a video. Video search will let people point their camera at something, ask a question about it, and get search results. It's the latest move from the tech giant to change how people search online by using artificial intelligence. It comes after the company introduced AI-generated results at the top of certain search queries this year, with mixed results. Let's go to the ads. Coming up, has the Loch Ness Monster finally been found? To stay up to date with all the latest tech and science news, just hit follow during the break. Welcome back. The popular TikTok influencer known as Mr. Prada has been charged with second-degree murder. The content creator, whose real name is Terrion Thomas, was arrested in Dallas, Texas on Tuesday afternoon after he was allegedly seen driving a stolen car that police said belonged to a 69-year-old Louisiana therapist whose body had been found. Mr. Thomas has been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice, according to the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. He is currently in custody in Dallas, awaiting extradition to Louisiana. Next, the UK government has pledged nearly £22 billion to fund projects for carbon capture and storage technology. Here's Energy Security and Net Zero Secretary Ed Miliband speaking on BBC Breakfast.
Why is this essential? Because for industries like cement, like glass, for oil refineries, if they are going to have a future, we can't let the carbon dioxide keep going into the atmosphere. We've got to bury it and store it underground. And that's what we're making possible today.
Carbon capture works by capturing the carbon dioxide emissions from something like a gas plant or cement factory, transporting them through existing gas pipes and storing them in a depleted oil or gas field under the sea. It's expensive and difficult, but the UK's climate advisors, the Climate Change Committee and United Nations scientists say it is essential to get the world to net zero, which the UK is targeting for 2050. And finally, it's a question that has captured the world's attention for decades. Is there a mysterious creature in Loch Ness? Well, one of the Loch's seasoned skippers might be a believer after capturing images of a monster-like shape on his sonar. Last September, Sean Sloggy and maritime pilot Liam Mackenzie were doing their usual rounds at Cruise Loch Ness when they stumbled upon the strange shape. The sonar indicated that a large object was lurking at a depth of around 98 metres, and Sloggy says that he has never seen anything like it, and it's the biggest thing he's ever seen. Despite returning to the scene later to investigate, the mysterious contact had vanished, leaving the team baffled. Spookily, the last major sonar contact in Loch Ness occurred almost exactly 4 years ago. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Standard podcast for all the latest news and analysis. Tech and Science Daily will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you then.